Hi, I'm Susan, and I'm the property energizer. Okay, so, whether we're dealing with people in foreclosure or whomever we're dealing with, there are a lot of reasons why you want to make an appointment to meet with them. Of course, if they're ready for now, do it now. I mean, there's no time better than now, right? However, there are some advantages to setting an appointment, and let's talk about that. Advantage one. So you don't look and smell like the competition. They're going to insist on now, and that's fine. They can insist on whatever they want, and that's, making you look better. More importantly, it's time to do homework. So we can make sure we have the proper names that the deed is under, and that's the legal description is correct. So we have all the paperwork put together, and even more importantly, to see if there are any liens on the property. So how do you do that? All right, you better bookmark this video because I'm going to share information with you that I usually charge a lot of money for. So, um, pay attention. Okay, so the first place I go to is Courthouse Direct, right? And I go down here to Deed and Mortgage Report, and then I choose both, and it takes a second for that to stick. And I choose my state, which is Texas right now, 9726. Shady Lane. You don't want to put lane in because, sometimes it's street, sometimes, I mean, typos. So you want to put in as little as information as possible. Put in your zip code, you put in your county. I hit exact and close, and then I hit search. And you see, nothing's coming up here. That's because the title is clouded. We'll find out what that is. So now how do we find the name? So 80% of the time, your tax office will have the correct owner's name. It's not always the owner's name on the tax forms because it's whoever paid the taxes last. Okay. And that's whose name the taxes are going to show under. It's usually the homeowner. And, sometimes it's not. So let's take a shot in the dark and see if it's going to be the homeowner. So I went to the Harris County website and I'm got to log in. Loading. They must be having a site issue because I've got really good Wi-Fi. Why are you taking so long to load, my dear? There we go. All right. So we're going to search for the property and we're going to do it by the address, and it's 5726 Shady Lane. Again, we're just going to put Shady. No account. Oh, you know why? Because it's 9726. That's why, Susan. There we go. There we go. Aha. See, there are two names here. That's why it's showing that cloud on the title. Interesting. So there's a Roberto and there's a Miguel. Now, let's go back to the property for a second because I think this one has two lots. Is this the one with two lots? It is. Okay, so see the 14,000 square foot. So that's two lots. So hopefully Miguel and Valentina Guevara know how to reach Roberto Zapianalcala. God help me, I know I butchered that. Because if they want to sell that property, they're going to need him. So let's go back for a minute and look it up on Zillow, and because I've already done some already. So you see, this is a big lot, and the house clearly needs work. All right, well, no problem. That's fine. That's what we want. We want distressed properties, right? So, yeah, wow. That's interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so now let's go to Harris County deeds. Okay, you know what? Let me do it this way. I like to Google all the time. So now I'm going to the Harris County deed search. And every county has something like that that's available. So first one we're going to look up is we're going to look up Miguel and Valentina Guevara. So let's last name Guevara Miguel. And that's a kind of common name, right? So you got a lot of legal descriptions. So you want to go back to the HAR listing or old HAR listing, I should say, because it's not listed. And it'll tell you here in the legal description, it's in Johnson. Okay, so we're looking for Johnson. How is it? Is it Shane? Anything here? Johnson? Bay Brown Glen? Huh. Well, this is a fun property. I'm glad I picked it. Uh, Kaplan Track. Okay. Oh, here's the subdivision right next to it. See, I'm old. Work with me. I am old. I'm 64. And I'm sorry, but that's old. I'm young old. I don't feel 64. I know I don't look 64. But anyway, we're looking for Kaplan trails. So we're going to go over here and we're going to put under the subdivision Kaplan and see what pops up. Okay, so there he is. Miguel got that tracked. Lot 22 and 23. So it looks good that he's the last known owner. Okay, we'll look at the tax records too to make more determination. But anyway, okay, so here's that. Then you want to do it as a grand tour. Some counties will do both grand tour and grantee at the same time. Harris County does not. So you want to do it both ways, which means he hasn't nothing. And he doesn't have any liens. There would be liens here, all kinds of things. Okay, so cool. All right. So we do know that the name is Miguel and Valentina Guevara are the owners, and we know that they own both lots. And and then you would download the deed so that you can get this, which is your legal description. Oh, it's a meets and bounds. Ugh. Okay, so in Harris County, at least, the underwriters, when they see meets and bounds like this is what when you see Exhibit A, like this, they're going to want a survey. So hopefully these people have a survey. And just for funsies, let's go back and look at under this name here. I'm not even going to try to spell it. Okay, I'll just take the 086 out. I'm going to do it this way. Let's see if his name comes up in any way as well. Nope, not here. Not here. Okay. So he was just paying taxes. Who knows? It might have been her brother or somebody that was living there and in that little shed you saw in the back of the picture there. Where's that picture? Where's that picture? Here it is. Oh, that's not the picture. Here's Zillow has the picture. He was probably living back here. Or, whatever the deal is. Nobody's living there now. Look at that. So anyway, that's how you look up these types of things. Now, as far as paperwork is concerned, you know, um, there are TREC contracts, that's Texas real estate contracts, which if you're in Texas, you can use one. Okay. We have 2-page contracts, which I also have. There's all kinds of paperwork that I have people sign to protect myself. And then you want to look into the new laws, if they have them, on what a memorandum of contract is, because used to be, at least here in Harris County, if you got a contract, then you would record it with the county clerk's office along with a memorandum, which basically the first person that records the memorandum wins. It's not the first person who has a contract. It's the first person who records a memorandum. All right, so you want to always record a memorandum so that people can't come along and, take your deal. Um, However, they've changed how that works because there were competitors around here, especially that would go around and, like if like that house that we just saw that was all beat up, he'd make a contract with the guy for like $230,000. And the guy's like, yeah, yeah, let's do that. Like, yeah, somebody's going to buy that for that amount. Anyway, um, so he records a memorandum of contract. So when if somebody else comes up behind him and the owner says, yeah, some guy offered me 230 and he never closed. And I would go, well, yeah, I mean, you're not going to get 230 for this property in this condition. I'll give you 150, whatever. Well, let's do it. And then I see this guy has a memorandum. We reach out to that fella and he says, yeah, I'll release my memorandum. Give me $20,000 or $50,000, whatever the heck he feels like charging. It was, basically extortion, right? So they've changed the rules. You've got to jump through some hoops here in Texas. I think it's all over Texas. I don't think it's just Harris County. That you have to send a letter certified mail to the homeowner, letting them know that you're going to record the memorandum of contract. and everything has to be notarized. And then once you get proof that you've sent it through certified mail and everything's notarized and blah, 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 then you record it with the county clerk's office. To unrecord it is the same hassle. Very rarely do I not close on a property. Unfortunately, there was one, it just didn't work out. I had a lot of stuff going on in my life and it slipped through my fingers. I wasn't able to close on the property. So I told the lady, I'm so sorry. I'll remove the memorandum. After I went through all of that, I assumed all I would have to do is write a letter saying, I released this memorandum kind of thing, record it with the county clerk's office, and we're good. Well, no. You have to go through this whole thing. So I told the lady when she does find a buyer, and if the title company wants me to sign whatever they want me to sign, I will. I'm not going to hold anything ransom or anything like that. I also gave her a letter stating that that was notarized that she could use, in case I get senile and want to be a bad girl. But I don't want to be a bad girl. I want to do this right. And it's always got to be win-win. So there you go. You just learned a few things. Stuff some people have paid me a lot of money to learn. Now, paperwork and stuff, you'll have to reach out to me. Just email me, Susan at thepropertyenergizer.com. And I'm always glad to share whatever information I can, as well as coaching, mentorship, JV. I'm open to all kinds of situations. If I can make a buck and you can make a buck, let's do it. Have a great day.